Yeah. This is the day that changed everything in the war for them. By that time, when they lost the first two bodies, that there was going to be more coming. It's just a non-quit. It's hard to kill, you know? You're not going to beat us that way. You know, we're trained to go all out, never leave a man behind, and stay in the fight. That's it. My brother Blake, he did 2 tours overseas. He was on his second tour, and this was when he was over there in November 2004. The first one, he was the first wave when I was out there in 2003. When he was out there, he got injured multiple times. So the first time, he had strap metal going from the left leg all the way, tearing through all the way up to his buttocks. And then he had a strap metal that made a hole in his back, and he had strap metal across his face. This is what put him in the hospital. Sustaining that injury, Blake, he was in multiple firefights, and over time it was catching up to him, and that was from strap metal off grenades, fragmentation off RPGs. He was beat up. He was beat up pretty good. That was not even including the concussions I know that he had out there as well. So when Blake had the strap metal in his legs, his back, and his face, they had to take him to the hospital because he was they knew it wasn't him anymore. Like, he was really beat up, he wasn't coherent. So he went to a hospital in Fallujah, and he wasn't there not even a day, I believe. And he snuck out of the hospital to get back to his unit, and they had to be on foot. So they had a hospital in Fallujah, so wherever they were at, it wasn't far enough to where he was in a struggle to get back. He knew how to get back, and that's what he did. When Blake got back to his unit after sneaking out, his platoon sergeant, Walter Garcia, was surprised, like, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be in the hospital. But just the morale boost that it gives you for somebody like him that's been through so much already, to show back up and say, I'm still in the fight, it's not over yet. Like, I'm good to go, let's keep doing this. Even though he knew in the back of his head, I'm sure he did, that, man, you know, I should be out there. I should be over there, back in the hospital, but I can't leave my brothers behind. I can't leave them. So I got to get back in the fight with him. My brother's mentality to go, even though he was injured and basically, you know, looks like he shouldn't even been out there anymore to be sent home, it's just a non-quit. It's hard to kill, you know? You're not going to beat us that way. You know, we're trained to go all out, never leave a man behind, and stay in the fight. That's it. The brotherhood that you share is what keeps you in the fight as well. You don't want to leave nobody. You want to make sure your friends are good. I mean, we're family, so no matter what happens out there, we got to stick by each other. You don't even have to like the guy, because there's a lot of times you're in units you don't even like him, but it's just that bond you still share, and like, that's my guy. That's my guy that I don't like, but we're still going to go in this fight, and we're going to handle business no matter what. When Blake got back to his unit, it's crazy. He started having these dreams, and so he has a shark tattoo. I believe it was on his right arm, and it's called an amalkua, and it means like guidance, protection. And he was having these dreams explaining to his guys about him, and they would say, just don't worry about it, because he would have these dreams saying that he would be trapped in a house or a building, and he'd be screaming for for help, and they would come and nobody would hear him. Like, he would see his friends and nobody would hear him, and they're like, just chill out, don't worry about it, everything's going to be good, man, we're going to be good. His buddies were telling him, but knowing deep down in themselves, they knew that they were in trouble. They knew they were in trouble, but just to settle the nerves down. But this wasn't the first time he had these dreams. He was having this on numerous occasions. I even remember the first time when we were coming back from deployed, and he called me. He was at home, Camp Pendleton, and I was still in North Carolina at the time. And before I was coming home to leave, and I was explaining to him, hey, I'm gonna be home, little bro, don't worry about it. And he's like, bro, I can't do this no more. I can't do this no more. And I never forget the phone conversation we had. I said, hey, we're almost done. Once we're done with our time, we're out of here. We're done. We're going to do everything we said we're going to do. The day my brother passed, I was in West Covina at a bar, Hooters, just having a good time. I probably shouldn't even been out. Like, I was already on a downward spiral, drinking too much. I was drinking and I get the phone call. Come home, you know, from my dad, and that doesn't usually happen like that. So with him calling me, it's kind of disturbed me. I'm like, what is he talking about? Come home, mijo, like that. So I was gonna call him back, then I see another missed text from my wife at the time. Hey, you need to come home now. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? And then I get another text or a call, and it's from my mom. And then I seen a Hawaii number come up, and that's where Blake's mom lives in Hawaii. So I'm like, why is everybody calling me right now at this time? And it was already around 10 o'clock at night. So I checked the voicemail of Blake's mom, and it says, Joey, I have to tell you, Blake is gone. And so I didn't believe it at first. I couldn't believe it because I thought he was in Okinawa, Japan, because that's where his orders were from. I mean, after we got back from deployment. So he gets reassigned, I guess, goes back to Iraq. And I was just with him in August, and this is November of 2004 when it all happened. So I get the call. I put the phone down after hearing the voicemail, and I'm hysterically, like I'm crying, and I can't believe what's going on. The day before he passed, they heard noises down the street where they were at, 50 feet from where their fire base is at. So it wasn't far. So the first house they get through it, nothing. They get to the second house, and this is where he's gonna find his match. I mean, there's three of them going to the house. Corporal Anderson, Lance Corporal McMillan, and my brother. So they go inside. They walk in, they go through a courtyard through the back door. They go inside the house, they go through the kitchen, and there's a stairwell. So Blake looks up the stairwell to see what's going on while the other two rush off to the side and breach the other side of the house. And so when Blake's looking up the other side, on one side, a kid comes from the other bedroom behind the door, and what's it called? He gets the AK-47 on burst, and 3 rounds to my brother's head right there, and drops him instantly. As his guys, they hear the fire coming in. They turn, they see Blake's body drop. They see the kid. They went to go drop the kid as he's trying to run upstairs, but he throws a grenade at them. So when they see the grenade, they're like, "Oh shit!" They try to jump over into the kitchen behind the counter, blows up. They're hit off this, so where it lands is by their feet. So they get hit with it. So now they're not doing good themselves. They look up. I think it was Macmillan. He drops the kid. It puts about 12 rounds in him to make sure he's done. You know, as he tried to run upstairs, he unloads on him, drops him, he falls on top of my brother. Now they have other insurgents on top. They're firing down on them too. They're looking at each other like, we got to get out of here because they're not doing good. I mean, they're both bleeding out now. One has the fragmentation hit him in the stomach, Mac, and you can basically you can see the insides on him. He's if he doesn't get help, he's gonna die. Lownke, who's a lance corporal, and then you have another Paul Aldridge, who's also another young guys. These guys are 20 years old now. Just finished off patrol. They're putting up sandbags when they heard all the commotion and gunshot. Ran, grabbed their gear. They're not even waiting for orders. They went back into the house. So when they go back to the house, they can't see anything because of the smoke that's going on from the grenade. So they're walking inside. So he's like, look, I'm gonna throw a flashbang in there because they can't see Blake's body. So he throws a flashbang inside there. They go inside and they see the body. So as soon as Lownke goes to grab Blake, boom, he gets dropped immediately, AK-47. Drops immediately, all just like shit. Has to grab him, pulls him back into the kitchen. He sees the blood. It's a bad hit, it's by the femoral artery in his thigh. So like, oh man, we gotta get you out of here. We can't stay in here. So now they're in a scuffle. These guys are firing down on him. He can't get out of the house. So Paul grabs him. They finally make it out of the house. By that time, now their whole unit's coming down now. The platoon sergeant Walter Garcia comes, grabs the M240, starts dropping rounds inside the house. They have the LAV come up, what's it called, 25 millimites, spraying the top of the top floor. Because now it's operation. We got to get Blake out of the house. This is everything that's going on. We got to get Blake out. That's their mission now. They send another team inside. They see Blake, and that's when they're able to grab him, retrieve him, pull him out of there. But in all this going on, this all happened within probably 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, if that. And it seems like it's forever when you hear it and you hear the story about it. And it's like, fuck, man. You know, he's stuck. My little brother's stuck at this house, dead. And these guys, all they're trying to do is get my brother out, and they're risking their lives for him. So when Blake passed, the guys they actually put a camp for him. So that where their firehouse where they're at, they named it after him, Firebase Magaway. A lot of people don't know about that. Like, so they dedicated everything out there was all for Blake. And that's pretty cool. That just shows you the camaraderie and love they had for him and what a leader he was, that they would actually name the entire base over him for him. The last conversation I had with Blake, it wasn't good. I don't want to talk about it. Just finished up 50 miles. I feel it. It was an experience. Every time I do this, it's an experience, and I learn a lot about myself and the things that why I do it. You know, and yesterday, driving up to San Clemente before, obviously before we kicked off, my wife sent me something, and it really touched me because she knows how much it means to me, and she doesn't say anything, and she lets me do what I have to do. And this is like one of the first times she's really stepped in and said something, and I'd like to share it with you guys. Love, I wanted to let you know how proud I am of you, the determination you have shown, and the respect and love to those that have passed and for serving their country. I have no doubt Blake and your grandpa are looking down at you smiling and all what you do. I'm proud that despite all those that have let you down, it never affects you and your outlook, and you continue on without them. A true soldier will sacrifice himself as you have and continue to do, just as those who have served in combat and done as well. Brush off any negativity and make it your day. Do what you do best and show up and do you. Your love, your wife Lee. And then she sent me the picture of this to let me know, don't ever forget why you're doing it.